My name is Ayed. I was born in a small town. Life was never easy, but I kept going. My dad died early. I was only 10. My mom cried alone, but never gave up. She cleaned houses. I sold tissues. We didn't have much, but we had each other. I walked for hours with broken shoes, feeling tired every day, but still moving. I left school at 13, not because I was lazy, but because I was hungry and we were poor. I wanted to help my mom. I wanted to be useful. I wanted to be strong. So I left school. One day I asked for work. The man looked at me and he laughed hard, like I was a joke. He said I was too small, said life is not a game. But I already knew life is a fight. I didn't cry. I didn't shout. I just walked away holding my empty bag. That night, I couldn't sleep. My stomach hurt bad. The room was cold. My blanket was thin. I looked at the ceiling. I dreamed of food. I dreamed of shoes and a warm bed. But dreams don't feed you. Dreams don't pay rent. Dreams need action. So, I made a plan. The next day, I walked to every shop I saw asking for a job, asking for a chance. Most said no. Some didn't answer. One man said maybe, and that was enough. It was a small repair shop full of old tools, wires on the floor, and dust everywhere. I looked at the man. I said, I want to learn. I said, I don't need money, just a chance. He smiled a little, wiped his hands, and said quietly, don't break anything. That's how I started. With fear in my heart, grease on my hands, and hope in my eyes. I cleaned the tools. I watched his hands. I listened carefully. I stayed quiet. Day by day, I learned how to fix phones, how to fix fans, how to fix speakers. He didn't talk much, but he saw my work. He saw I cared. He saw I tried hard. He gave me old parts, broken machines. He said practice on these. Don't break more. My fingers got cut. My nails turned black. But I was proud. I didn't stop. Some nights I worked late, alone in the shop, repeating what I learned. Fixing again. After some months, I fixed my first phone. It was a small win, but felt so big. The man clapped once, said not bad, kid. I smiled wide. It felt like a medal. I started writing notes about every fix, about every tool, like it was treasure. My notebook was messy, full of mistakes, but it showed growth, and I kept it close. I saved every coin. I didn't buy snacks. I didn't waste time. I had a goal. My goal was small, just to buy shoes and maybe someday open my own shop. I never told my friends. I didn't want to brag. I didn't want pity. I just worked. People passed me daily. No one asked my name, but I kept smiling. I kept dreaming. Some people mocked me, said I smell like oil, said I look poor, said I won't succeed. But I didn't care. I knew my worth. I knew my path. I knew my story. One day I saw a boy crying on the street. I gave him my sandwich. He smiled big. That moment was special. It reminded me. Even small people can give something big. My mom noticed change in my eyes, in my hands, in my steps. She asked what's new. I said I'm learning. I said I'm fixing. I said I feel hope. She hugged me tight, whispered thank you, said I make her proud, said I'm strong. That night I cried, not from sadness, but from joy. Quiet joy that fills the chest. I was still poor, still hungry, still cold. But I had purpose, and purpose is warm. Purpose is fuel. Purpose makes pain easier and days shorter. I wasn't fast. I wasn't lucky, but I was steady. And I was real. Step by step, screw by screw. I was building something, even if no one saw. People love big wins. They cheer for success, but they don't see the work behind it. They don't see dirty hands, long nights, shaking legs, and silent prayers. But I knew my story. I lived every line. I earned every scar. I carried every tool. And this was just the beginning of something more, something real, something mine. I kept learning every day, fixing more things, making fewer mistakes, trusting myself more. The shop owner smiled often. He liked my focus. He liked my silence. He liked my hands. I stopped being afraid. I asked more questions. I tried new tools. I made bold choices. My confidence grew slowly, but it was real. Built by time, built by effort. After 1 year, I fixed big devices, computers, and speakers with no help. All alone, customers noticed me. They smiled at me. They said thank you. They said I was smart. One lady gave a tip, said I fixed her fan, said I saved her day. I smiled for hours. Another man returned, said I'm honest, said I don't cheat, said he'll tell his friends. Soon people asked for me. Not the boss. They wanted Ayed. They liked my work. The boss saw that he didn't get mad. He was proud. He gave me space. He let me use one corner for my own work, my own customers, my own record. I bought small tools with saved money. I wrote my name on each of them. Every night I cleaned them. Even the screwdrivers, even the small brushes, all shiny. I felt proud inside, not because of money, but because of growth, because of progress. My shoes were still old, but now they felt lighter because my steps had meaning. People still laugh sometimes, but their voices faded. My focus was louder. One day my mom got sick. I used my savings for her medicine. I didn't think twice. I worked more shifts. I ate less food. I cared less about sleep, more about her health. She looked weak at first, but later smiled, said I'm her soldier, said I saved her again. That moment meant more than any money, any praise, any reward. Then something big happened. The shop owner left. He said goodbye. He trusted me. He said I can take over. He said I earned it. He said I grew fast, faster than him. I was shocked at first, then full of fire. I cleaned the shop. I fixed the lights. I changed the sign, wrote Ayed Repairs. My name finally on the wall. Business was slow first. I had doubts. I had fear. But I didn't stop. I printed flyers, gave them out, fixed for free, sometimes just to build trust. Soon people returned. They brought friends. They share my name. They helped me grow. I worked 16 hours. No complaints, no breaks. Just passion and dreams. I saved more money. I bought a second-hand laptop. I watched tutorials. I wrote notes. I learned about apps, websites, and tech. I wanted more. I needed to evolve. My hands were still dirty, but my mind was cleaner, clearer, sharper than ever. I dream bigger now. Not just tools, but full systems, full machines, full ideas. I joined online groups, found mentors, asked questions, helped others too. One man replied often, said I was fast, said I had spark. He was from abroad. He sent free ebooks, gave me tasks, checked my work, pushed me forward. He didn't know me, but he believed. And that gave me wings, made me fly. I made a simple app for tracking repairs used by my customers, used every day. They liked the ease, the speed, the design, and told others too. I added more features, worked at night, tested bugs, fixed them fast. People started calling me not just a repair guy, but a tech mind. It felt strange at first. I looked around, still in my old chair, still near broken fans. But inside I felt tall, like I had climbed from a deep hole with just my will. I didn't forget my past. I didn't forget my shoes. I didn't forget my hunger. Those things shaped me, gave me direction, gave me reason, gave me power. My mom saw the change. She smiled more. She walked better. She told her friends. They came to visit, asked for help. I helped for free just to make her proud. I wanted her to rest, to never clean again, to only smile, to only breathe. That was my mission. That was my fuel. That was me why behind every fix. I met new people. Some were kind, some were not. But all taught me something. I learned to listen, to stay calm, to wait before talking, to trust my gut. My circle stayed small, but full of light, full of truth, full of heart. No more fake friends, no more lies. Just real talk and real steps. I kept my notebook now with many pages filled with lessons, filled with code. It was messy still, but beautiful too, because it was mine, made by hand every time I felt low. I read the first page, the very first fix, the very first wire. And I remembered that kid, the one with nothing but a will to learn. I wanted to do more, help others, teach kids, open doors, show paths, because I knew the pain of standing outside, of hearing no, of being ignored. I started posting online small tips, simple advice, and little wins. People listened, people followed, people asked, and I replied. I want to grow more, not just fix, but create, build, imagine. So I saved again every coin, every note, every reward. After 3 months, I joined a boot camp. It was online. It was hard. I studied late. I studied early. I never missed. I gave it all. The first weeks were rough. I made mistakes. I felt dumb. I kept going. I watched videos twice, sometimes 3 times, wrote down steps, tested each one. I failed many times, but I learned more from every fall, from every bug. Then I made progress, small at first, then faster, then smoother. I built a second app, then a third for small shops to track repairs. One shop used it, then 2, then more. They liked the ease. They pay me later, small amounts, but I felt rich. I felt proud. I smiled each night, not because of money, but because I mattered. I opened a small room near my house, called it a tech hub. I worked there alone with my tools, with my laptop, with big dreams. Kids walked in, looked around, asked questions, played with wires. I welcomed them. I taught them. I gave them space. I gave them hope. Some boys were shy. Some had no shoes. Some were hungry. Some were silent. I knew those eyes. I knew that silence. I was like them not long ago. I brought snacks, old tablets, markers. I wrote on walls, drew ideas. We made simple things. We fixed toys. We opened phones. We explored tech. My mom visited once, saw the kids, saw me teaching. She cried softly. She spoke. I found light in a hard place and shared it without fear. That night, I couldn't sleep. I felt warm. I felt ready. I felt alive. I knew my path. It was not just work. It was purpose. It was healing. One day I got a call from a big man who saw my video, liked my story. He wanted a meeting in the city, in a real office, with real suits. I wore clean jeans, my best shirt, printed my app, wrote my name. He shook my hand, asked smart things, listened well, smiled big. He said he liked me, said I had heart, said I had skill, offered a deal. He would fund my idea, help it grow, give advice, give space. But I had to move to the city, work full-time, manage a team. I said yes without thinking, then felt scared, felt heavy, felt young. I left my hub, gave keys to a friend, asked him to teach, to keep it open. I moved alone, rented a bed in a shared room with no kitchen. But I woke up happy. I worked all day. I coded all night. I smiled tired. The office was huge. People were fast. Talks were smart. Plans were clear. My job was hard. My team was new. But we clicked. We helped each other. They listened to me. They respected me, even without a degree, without fancy words. They said I had fire, said I had vision, said I saw what others missed. We built together. We launched fast. We got real users, real results. After months of work, our app grew, got more downloads, more reviews. We added features, fixed bugs, answered emails, made updates. We slept little but laughed more. We felt like one, not just workers. We called it family because we cared. We showed up. We stayed true. I visited home after 6 months, hugged my mom, saw my hub. The kids were bigger. The walls had drawings, ideas, dreams, all bright. They showed me gadgets, things they made. I clapped. I cried. I hugged them. I told them stories, told them to try, told them to fail, told them to rise. I stayed 2 days, then went back, full of hope, full of strength. I knew now I had a mission, not just tech, but people, stories, change. I started talks in schools, in centers, in small places for big hearts. I told them all, even if you're poor, even if you're behind, you can shine. I shared my past, the hunger, the shoes, the tears, the wins. They listened in silence, then clapped loud, then came close, asked more. They said thank you, said they believe now, said they'll try, said they'll fight. I walked home slow, looked at stars, whispered thanks, whispered dreams. I kept growing step by step. Not fast, but steady, strong and true. We launched a new tool for schools, for kids, for simple learning. It was loved by many teachers, by parents too. It felt right. We got awards. We got emails. We got smiles. We got hugs. Still, I stayed humble. I cleaned my desk. I made tea. I said good morning. I wrote goals on sticky notes, on walls, on screens, even in my wallet. I called my mom every night, told her news, made her laugh. She still says you're my lion. You're my reason. You're my gift. Each day was full of work, of ideas, of moments. I woke up early, walked to work, smiled at strangers, bought coffee. My team was growing. We hired more young minds, kind hearts. We shared dreams, shared food, shared jokes, shared purpose. The app kept growing. People loved it. They sent thanks. They shared it. We fixed problems, read feedback, stayed up late, worked weekends. I gave talks in small towns, in cities, in schools. I told kids this. You are enough. You can build. You can shine. One day I met her in a school talk. She asked questions, deep ones. Her name was Rena. She was bold, wore glasses, carried books. She stayed after, talked more, asked how I started, why I care. I liked her voice, her mind, her eyes, her spirit. We met again for coffee, then again for a walk, then again. She listened well. She shared pain. She had lost, but stayed strong. She loved writing. Soft music, morning walks, old poems. I loved her calm, her hope, her way of seeing beauty. Rena said this. You speak with light, not just words, and it stays. I smiled shy, not used to that, not used to praise. Not like this. We became close, slow, and safe. No rush, just truth. She knew my story. Every part, every scar, every fall. One evening, I told her I still feel fear. I still hear doubt. She held my hand, told me to. But we move. We don't stop. We sat in silence, watched the sky, felt the breeze, felt alive. That night, I knew she saw me, really saw and didn't leave. The company grew, got noticed, won awards, got press. But we stayed small in heart, in style, in mission. I made sure always to hire from pain, not from titles. We hired a boy who once stole, but changed and tried. People judged that, said it's risky, said I'm soft, said be smart. I said this. We all fall, but who helps us rise matters more. That boy worked hard, learned fast, smiled wide, stayed late. He said once, no one trusted me till you did. Now I live. We started workshops, free ones for poor kids, for jobless youth. We taught coding, fixing, designing, speaking, even dreaming. We brought snacks, good chairs, bright walls, soft music. We saw change in faces, in voices, in posture, in light. Rena joined us, taught writing, told stories, read poems, inspired girls, she said. Girls can code, can lead, can speak, can fight. One girl cried, hugged her, said thank you, said I believe. We cried too, all of us, the whole room. Silent tears. I opened a second hub in a far town. No internet, no hope. We brought tablets, routers, chairs, dreams, tools. At first few came, then more, then many, then all. They asked questions, made apps, drew ideas, laughed loud. I started a blog. Simple posts, one story, one lesson each week. People read, people shared. People wrote back with love. One post said, "I cried tonight. Your story saved me. Thank you." Another said, "I'm starting small like you did. I won't quit." I kept writing every Sunday. No ads, no noise, just truth. The post spread, got noticed, got featured, got invited. A podcast called Wanted Me, wanted my journey, wanted my voice. I said yes, but nervous. Not good with mics, not polished. The host was kind, asked deep, listened well, gave space. We talked long about pain, about hope, about change. That episode trended. People found me. People reached out. They said, "Come speak, come teach, come share, come visit." I traveled more. Small towns, big halls, full hearts, eager minds. Some slept on floors just to attend, just to learn, just to feel seen. I shared what I knew. All of it. No filter, no ego, just heart. They clapped loud. Not for me, but for their own hidden light. Back home, I built a new team for expansion for the next step. We planned a platform, one big place for skills, for dreams. It would host courses, jobs, mentors, talks, community. All simple, all free, all real. For those like me once, we launched slowly, step by step. Tested each part, listened close. It worked fine, then better, then beautiful, then magic. We named it Rise. One word, one dream, one promise. People joined, signed up, shared it, loved it, lived it. One night, I stood alone in the hub. Lights off, quiet room. I looked at photos, old ones, my shoe, my mom, my shop. I whispered thanks to pain, to luck, to God, to people. Then I sat down, wrote a note to myself to remember. It said this: never forget who you were, how you felt, why you started. The world is big, but your truth is bigger. Keep walking. Even slow steps count. Even shaking hands, even tired eyes. You matter. Your story matters. Your rise matters. Years pass slowly, but filled with light, filled with meaning, filled with work. Rena and I married in a small room, with flowers, with friends. My mother cried softly, kissed my hand, said she's proud, said I made it. I hugged her close, felt her heart, felt her peace, felt her joy. We moved houses. Nothing big, just clean, quiet, safe. The old shoe stayed in a glass box on my shelf near my desk. People asked why. I said story. I said start. I said fight. That shoe saw pain, saw rain, saw nights, saw dreams. We hired more, trained more, built more, helped more. We stayed honest, stayed close, stayed real, stayed small. Kids from hard towns walked hours just to learn, just to try. They sat straight, eyes wide, hands ready, minds open. I met a boy. Quiet eyes, scared hands, soft voice, he said, "Sir, please, just one chance. I'll work. I'll learn." He fixed a phone. On day 3, clean work, fast hands. I smiled big, patted his back, said welcome, said shine. Now I watch new ones rise, teach others, dream bigger. They speak loud, code fast, build well, help all. I sit back, drink tea, close eyes. Thank life from a broken shoe to full rooms, full hearts, full hope.